Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table Podcast, the virtual table where we discuss all things young adulting. My name is Fikayo and thank you so much for having me in your ears. Today on this podcast, we are met with a very special guest called Boswell as he talks to us about his brand. And in this conversation, we are going to talk about everything. We are going to talk about his life, his background, and his business. And it's really a great, informative, beautiful, raw conversation that you absolutely do not want to miss out on. So without further ado, welcome to the table, Boswell.
Everyone, my name is Boswell Wozizong, the owner of Elsewears and the writer of the book, The Vision Only You Can See. I'm so excited to be here, and I thank you guys for the opportunity to listen to me and listen to your favorite host.
Thank you, Boswell. No, I'm really excited for this. We've talked, but I'm really excited for what you're going to give us here at the podcast. Before we start, with all of my guests, I asked 3 questions for my guests, actually. And the first one I'm going to start with you is, can you tell us who you are in one sentence?
This is the sentence.
Okay.
Very simple. So the sentence is, I maximize. 2 years ago, I did a lot of research. I read some books and I stumbled on this book called In Charge. It's by Miles Monroe. Rest in peace. I really love reading his books and it inspired me a lot. So in that book, I was able to find part of my purpose. And I realized that my purpose on earth is to bring the best out of everything and everyone around me and to maximize everything and everyone around me in order for them and for myself to accomplish one of God's desires. I think that phrase describes me more because I maximize.
That's amazing. Yeah. So not only do you maximize yourself, but you maximize people around you. I think that's very empowering. I have a question, but it might be a little too early, but do you think that impacts you as a creative?
Impacts me in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get to have a lot of stories. I get to have a lot of experiences. I get to have a lot of moments that I can look back to and be inspired by. Like, for example, if I help my brothers figure out something or like find a solution or help him with his business, years later, I might be creating. I just remember the joy it brought to us at that moment. And that can be an inspiration for a book title or for a design or for like a piece I'm creating. It really impacts me the way I do things every day.
That is so interesting. So I love being around creatives because I feel like creatives understand ourselves. I think creatives have this amazing power to be able to take an emotion and pull that emotion out and put it into whatever they're making. And that is definitely something that God gave us as a gift to be able to do. It's amazing.
No, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful because, everyone has a different way of escaping reality. And as a creative, the stories I go through, the emotions I go through, being able to put it in such a way where people can interpret it in different ways is very magical because I could like create a cloth or like draw something or write something. And everyone has a very different meaning to what it is. Someone can be like, oh, this makes me feel happy. Oh, this makes me feel excited. Oh, this makes me feel motivated. Even though I wrote it from a place of pain, it can be interpreted in so many different ways. It can inspire so many different demographics.
Yeah.
So many different people just from one emotion, one story. Yeah. It's very beautiful.
It is. Okay, so sorry, I deviated. Now we have to go back to our regular questions. And my main question is, how have you been praying? So how have you been praying, Boswell?
Honestly, I've been praying about family.
Yeah.
Praying about my mom, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, my peers, like everyone I grew up with. I've been praying about life, good health, because lately we have lost a lot of people in our family. It's very heartbreaking. So I've been praying for good health. I've been praying for progress and a lot of providing. Because in order for me to do what I really want to do, God has to keep on providing for me. So I pray for provision a lot.
Yeah, I've been praying along those lines as well. I even just got COVID not too long ago. And I was like, I don't know, when scary things happen, that's when the obvious thing that is going to happen to all of us, now comes to light and you're like, wow, this thing is actually real.
Reality hits.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. So thank you for sharing that, Boswell. Thank you. Okay, now the second question I ask everyone is, what are you snacking on? So what this means is not necessarily what you're actually snacking on, like what you're eating, but like what has been on the top of your mind? What is the current thing that's been happening and going through your brain?
I've been reading a lot.
Yeah?
and
You're a
I've been doing a
reader?
lot of charity. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of
Really?
charity work,
Wow. That's amazing. Tell us about that.
reading or the charity.
Both.
Like I'm a picky reader. I don't just read anything. I just like reading things that I know can influence me or influence the people around me because like I told you, I maximize. So I want to be that person where if somebody around me comes with a question or with a problem, even if I can't solve it, I need to at least have the intro that's going to help them solve it. I just got done finishing this book. It's called Influence by Robert Cardini. It's about marketing and how to like influence people and how to structure deals in order to get people to buy your products, get investors, build strong friendships. Because at the end of the day, everything is marketing, even the way you build your friendships and relationships is all about marketing.
Yeah.
So that's something I've been reading. And in regards to charity, actually, I didn't want to say this, but I'll say this on your podcast because, it's my first time being on here and I can't be hiding everything. So when I started my brand this year, I decided to incorporate a concept that my brothers and I have been doing for quite a long time, which is like we put up money and we help people around us. We help charities. We help friends. If one of our friends has like an idea or a startup, or we have a charity that we like, we'll put up money together and donate. So this year when I started my brand, I said through my brand, I would like to be able to help at least 25 people. And those 25 people include charities, include friends, include startups, things like that. So that's what I've been working on as well. And so far, we have done a pretty good job, and I'm very proud of what we have done so far. And the charities we have been able to donate to, the people we have been able to help, like it feels so good, to be in that position where I can see my dreams building up step by step. I can see that foundation getting built. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to, and pray every day for God to help me to get to that point where I can influence and be able to affect the people that around me and the people around the world in a way that God wants me to.
Yeah. I am so impressed by you. This is like, not often do I meet people that make me feel so inspired. And whenever I do, and I have like these kind of interactions, I always want to like pay very close attention to it. I am so inspired. Finding adults that think like this is so rare. So for you to be as young as you are and be thinking like this and doing things like this, wow. I want to say thank you. It's really impressive.
You gotta thank my mom.
Wow, really?
I think it comes from my upbringing because, like you said, I'm not that old enough to have experienced a lot of things, but I've lived with my mom for a long time, and the connection that I have with her and the relationship is so open to the point where we talk about everything. I know everything that she personally experiences because she never hid anything from me.
Yeah.
You know how some parents will like protect you when I want to let you in on the tea, like my mom wasn't like that. She would let me know like, yo, it's bad right now. Like I'm going through a very hard time, but believe everything will be fine. Have faith, just being around a woman like that at such a young age, open conversations left and right, transparency, the honesty, I learned a lot. I learned a lot to the point where when I do something, I've seen my mom go through the situation before. This is how it ended. So if I go through the same thing, if I do this, I can get a better outcome.
Right.
And that's really what has shaped my life in different ways to the point where I'm able to do different things and think in certain way that I can attract like the people that think like me, or I can do certain things that I've always envisioned to do.
Yeah. Wow. Strong parents really do make strong children. And there's something about that. It's hard, but you can't take it for granted because it really does teach you things. And it teaches you what real life looks like in a way that you'll never learn it. I thank your mom for allowing you to, like, holding you that close. That's pretty great. How does it impact you now?
It definitely does impact me now in actually everything I do.
Yeah.
Because my mom is into business. My mom is I can say one of her strengths is her ability to cohabitate and negotiate, because my mom always says this: one of the hardest things in the world is to live with people, is cohabitation. Because even with your own parents, you have disagreements. Even with your own siblings, you get disagreements. Even with your own family, even with your best friends, you get disagreements. So it's so hard to live with people. And that's something that my mom has mastered. I've seen her master it to the point where it's so impressive.
Yeah.
It's so impressive. And it has helped me a lot now, because sometimes when I go on vacation with like friends, sometimes people have different habits. They do different things.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect me a lot, because like the key is that when you live with someone, you don't live according to yourself, but you live according to the person, because if you live with a thief, guess what? You have to hide your stuff because you live with a thief. If you live with someone that is close-minded, guess what? You can't really be too open because they might feel offended. And that's how you keep the peace.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned from her. The second thing is negotiation. Actually, I'm in business, so I have to negotiate a lot of times. Just see my mom bargain every time, just negotiating. It's just something that I didn't really have to ask her, like, yo, mom, teach me how to do this.
Yeah.
Just see her do it. It's natural. It's inert. I just learned it from seeing her do it, which is to the point where now, like, I have a clothing brand. I've had a couple businesses. I've had some great negotiations, and some of the time, my friends are very impressed. My brothers are like, yo, how did you pull this off? How did you do this? Or sometimes when they have like deals and they want to structure like negotiations, they'll come see me like, oh, how should I structure this? How do I do this? And I'm very happy to be of help in those moments. And I'm very happy because it's my life now. Like, it's on a daily, and I just want to get better. I just want to refine this skill. I just want to beautify it. I just want to get to a point where, how can I even explain it? Trying to find the right words, but I'll keep it simple. Like, I want to get to a point where I don't really have to like force it or to emulate someone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to a point where it's just so natural. It just flows. I don't have to think too much. It's like a reflex. Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. You spoke about your clothing brand and your business. Can you tell us a little more about that?
For sure. So, own a clothing brand called Elsewears. Elsewears is my baby. It's something I hold close to my heart because not many people know this, but it's an idea I've been holding on for so long, and I've just been keeping it on the shelf for a couple reasons. One, because I felt like I wasn't ready yet, and two, because of fear, obviously.
Yeah.
I was scared to make a move. I was scared to build something, which it really hindered me in pushing this dream, pushing this brand forward. And now that I started it and I picked up the momentum, I feel somewhat fulfilled, feel happy that I was able to do something that my name is on it. Mm-hmm. Something that I could build to a point where I leave a legacy.
So tell us about your collection as well.
Entre-nous is a French word, and when you translate it in English, it means between us. Mm-hmm. And between us can mean a lot of different things, which is why I chose that word, because not only does it reflect my upbringing, it just reflects my mom's story, because that's something I also want to push out. Her story is so impactful in my life and so strong. In a way, I want to be able to tell it to the world in bits and pieces, because it's so big and it's so inspiring. And I believe that if I put it all at once, people are not going to take everything as they should. So I want to start giving it out little by little. So starting with this collection, Between Us, Entre-nous. Growing up, I was always surrounded by a lot of people. My siblings were with my dad. So it was just me and my mom. So I was always bored at home, video games, washing dishes, cooking all the time with my mom, until one day I went outside. And when I went outside, I started making friends. All those friends, I decided to stop playing the video games. I decided to stop cooking. I said, you know what? Outside is more beautiful than inside. I want to be out here more. And my mom was like, no, outside is dangerous. You can't be going outside all the time. You need to rest. If you rest a lot, you will grow, things like that. And I was like, nah, you see, all those kids are having fun. I want to have fun too. I'm still a kid. And I don't even have siblings at home to like talk to or to like play with. So I always had to like go play outside, make some friends. And so by doing that, I built very strong relationships with the kids in my neighborhood to the point where we did everything together. We played soccer together. We dressed together. We went to parties together. And some vacations, we even spent time in our different houses. We ate together. And one thing I really thank my mom for is for like encouraging our friendships because, most of the time, not many parents encourage their kids to like pursue certain friendships with people, because either the people are too different from us or they have like different habits from the ones that we have or like the values we have. But my mom was more open-minded and she was like, you know what? I raised you right. And if you go out there, I know you make the right decisions. So just be careful. Do not judge anybody and just have fun. And that's what it made me happy because my mom received each and every one of my friends in a very good and welcoming way to the point where I can say it really like intensified the bond with me and my mom at that time because I was very stubborn. I was so stubborn. I always like break things, break plates, not listen, all that. So at that moment in my life, like I became more closer with my mom. I became more respectful because I was like, oh, look at the way she's treating my friends. I've been to a couple houses and I see how they treat like other kids and it's bad. Or sometimes you watch TVs, Nigerian movies when I was a kid. You see how friends, when they come to their friends' houses, their parents be doing some wild stuff. I'm like, yo, my mom is not like this. Thank God. So I was so happy. And so this collection, I just wanted to reflect that unity through this collection, because that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up with people. We shared secrets together. During Christmas, we'll all go to like the market. Like, yeah, they'll say it's the mall. Like in Africa, it was like a market. We'll go to the market together. With the little we had, we start picking outfits for each other and see how we are going to start it for Christmas or for New Year's. Like, and if anybody didn't have an outfit or like a shoe, we'll like share shoes together or like share articles, share accessories together. So it was like a very peak moment in my life. I was so happy. And I want to share it through this collection.
Wow.
And a lot of people have asked me this question because if you see the hoodies, it says Entre nous Paris, so Paris, like you guys like they pronounce it here. A lot of people have asked me, but why in Paris though? Couldn't you put Entre nous and then you put the area where you grew up in? The reason why I put Paris is because I have a lot of friends down there. The same way my neighborhood in Africa influenced me, that's the same way I was influenced by Paris and my friends down there. We had the best time of our lives. We had great moments lived together. And it was so impactful in my life because that's when I actually saw loyalty. That's where I met loyalty between friends. It was so intense and that's something I live by now. Oh, wow. Loyalty is actually a value it's actually something that I value a lot due to what I've experienced with those friends. Because, in certain situations, many people will say, I got you, I got you, I got you. But not many people know what I got you mean. But when I was there with them, I finally saw what the word I got you, the phrase I got you mean. Like I was living it. Yeah. It wasn't just me saying, yo, I got you, bro. It was like an anthem that we lived by. It was like laws. When I was in trouble, I didn't hesitate. I always called my people and they'll always come for me. When I needed help, I just called my people and they'll come for me. And that's the same thing. I gave back the same thing. I reciprocated the same energy. So that's why I dedicate part of this collection to Paris. Because plus the person that's gonna be in charge of the artistic and the direction of this collection is from Paris. And that's one of my closest friends. And it's like a way for me to dedicate it to him as well because he has impacted me in so many different ways. And I'm very grateful for that. Oh. So that's the whole thing behind the Entre nous collection.
Wow. I just want to, because our listeners, they don't probably know, but you're from Cameroon.
Of course.
Yes. And in Cameroon, they speak French. So were you born in Cameroon?
Yeah, I was born in Cameroon.
And then you went and lived in Paris?
I grew up, yeah.
Oh. Then how did you make friends in Paris?
Because the thing is, I was born in Cameroon. Cameroon has two parts, the French part and the English part. So I was born in a city called Yaoundé. And in Yaoundé, we speak French. So most of my friends that I had there when I was little, they had traveled early. Their parents sent them to like French speaking countries, France, Belgium, Turkey and all that. When I grew up, my mom decided to make me travel as well. So when I went up there, I met my old childhood friends.
Went where? Where is there?
To Paris.
Okay.
And then they introduced me to their friends, and that's more relationships being built, more connections being built.
Wow.
That's how that came along.
I'm just even interested, like, is there a difference between here and Paris?
Very different.
Yeah.
The culture. Culture is very different. The way we do things is very different.
Okay, now let's switch over to your creative side. What do you create? And then also, why do you create the things you create?
I write books. I write poems. I draw. I sketch. Let me not say I draw because that's a lie. I sketch. And then I try to find someone that can draw properly to paint my vision in a more clearer way. I design things like interior design. That's something I really love as well because I love houses. So interior design is something that I'm passionate about as well. So that's basically my creative side right there. Writing, designing, and sketching. The rest is more of my imagination working.
Yeah.
Constantly working. The ideas are there for sure. Sometimes I just need someone to put it in a more clearer way for me so I can really show to other people because I can explain it to you as much as I can. Not many people have the faith to the point where they can believe without seeing, so I have to get to where I have to actually draw it and then show you okay, bro, this is what I was talking about. You remember that design I said? Okay, this is what it looks like on picture. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And then what were the other questions?
Me, I've even forgotten at this point. My mind is going off in so many different questions I want to ask you. I also consider myself a creative, and I completely get that. Just being so good at everything and being curious about everything. And something that my parents were kind of worried about my imagination, that my imagination has always been very, very strong as well. But my parents were so worried about it when I was younger because it can take you so far, but it's so scary.
It is.
Do you think imagination is important for creatives?
It definitely is. It definitely is. That's the biggest canvas you can ever have as a creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an artist, you need a canvas to paint on. Like a writer, you need a book to write on. Like a singer, you need a mic to sing through. Like a designer, you need something to design. You need a machine to sew stuff. Like a photograph, you need a camera to take pictures. Now take all those different facets of arts, and then take the biggest canvas that can ever imagine, where you can do all those things at once. That's your imagination right there. So that's very, very crucial and important for any artist, because that's where it all starts before it can actually be real.
Yeah.
Because the reason why it is the biggest canvas is because it's limited. It's limitless because you can imagine anything. There's no limit. You can imagine anything. It's like being an actor in a movie you've always wanted to play, and then you get to do all the things you've ever wanted to do. That's how scary it is. But at the same time, it's very crucial in the creative process because it pushes you to go where you can't go in real life. There's no fear in your imagination. I can imagine $1 million right now.
Yeah.
I can imagine so many different things, and there's no buffer in there that's going to say, oh, nah. And even if there is, I'm still going to think about it. I'm still going to picture it.
Yeah. So I have a question. If I gave you two options, right? And in one hand, I had a blue pill and I said imagination. And on the other hand, I had a red pill and I said talent. Which one would you pick? Imagination or talent?
Oh, the thing about imagination is you still have to convert it. Talent is already there. Man.
Let me tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? So I think that imagination allows you to have that vision. And then as long as literally what you said, as long as you're able to articulate it and you know exactly where to take that vision to, you might be okay. You don't even have to do the work. As long as you can get it to whoever can do the work and you have the resources to back it, it's good. But talent, talents, imagine having talent or being like a drawer or being an artist and not having the mind to be able to go far. I don't
Now,
know.
now that you said it, now that you say it like this, you know, talent is limited.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can be talented at so much. It's not that many things you can be talented, you
Yeah.
know, if we are being realistic. But imagination has no limit. So
Yeah.
you know what? I think I'll go with imagination because I could get to think things that I may not even be passionate about. I might sell the idea. Who knows? Someone that really loves it and someone that wants to develop it. I'm like, okay, I had this idea. Boom, boom, bada, ba. Then sell it.
Yeah. It's something that like I've thought about so much, like just even that concept of talent, right? Because I feel like some sometimes like if I'm not good at something, I'll just be like, oh, I'm not good at it, and then I'll like give up. But what I'm trying to teach myself is I don't even necessarily have to be talented at something to be good at it. As long as I
Yeah.
just continually work hard at it and I'm consistent with it, I will get better with it over time. It is just inevitable. It's an upward slope always. You don't stay the same. So it's something I've always just thought about. Like, you don't even, because a lot of people, a lot of creatives allow that, like, fact that maybe they're not talented on day one to stop them from getting to day 100. And I keep trying to tell people, no, like, be bad at it. Actually, be very, very bad at it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to learn. You're going to learn very, very well. By the time you get to day 100, you're good. Just make sure that you have that vision and you chase that vision. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, before we continue, one of the reasons that I also wanted to do this podcast is because we are both at our beginnings, you
Yeah.
know, and I want this to be an inspiration to many because by God's grace, I truly and really believe we are going to grow in different spaces and we are
Yeah.
going to be mega minds in what we do. So I want this podcast to be like a testimony
Mm-hmm.
after we get to that point for the people who don't have faith, for the people who don't believe, for the people doubting themselves that, you know, this would be like a reminder that at some point we started here, you know,
Yeah.
at some point we started where the articulation wasn't the best, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
English, the construction of phrasing, the delivery was not the best. But now look at us, like look at where we are,
Yeah.
look at what we have accomplished. So this also another reason that I also wanted to do the podcast because, you know, success has traces.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to look back and be like, oh, this guy, look at her. She used to do that back in the day. Now look at what she's doing now. Like, it's big now. Look at him. He used to talk like this, but now look, his English is better.
Mm.
You know, things like that. I want people to look back at this moment or like trace this moment and like, yo, like I feel inspired.
Yeah.
I want to start something right now.
Yeah.
And I
I
thank you for having me again. I really appreciate it.
I thank you. You are so inspiring. Like, you have no idea. I'm so happy to have had you like here. This was really good.
A pleasure. Me too. I'm happy to be here. Honestly, I can't lie.
Thank you. We're gonna have you back. You know that,
Sure.
right? Yeah, we will
Sure.
definitely have you back. I usually let everyone ask me a question because I do all the asking. So I was like, okay, maybe people should ask me. So do you have any questions for me, Boswell?
I have a couple questions for you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do have a couple questions for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
My first question is, if money wasn't a problem, you know, if finances, provision, all that was not a problem, what is something that you would love to do every day passionately, you know, with no compensation, with no payment given, that you just wake up every day and just want to do it over and over and over? What is that thing?
I love stories. And my favorite kind of stories are real stories. Stories like yours, stories like mine, stories like the next person I'm going to have on this podcast. If I could do anything and money was not the problem. I would get as many stories and people's truths as possible, and I would document them. And it's like, that's what I would do. And by doing that, they become immortal, you know? Because their stories will live on forever. They will always be somewhere. They don't die. Their spirit lives somewhere. That's what I would do, because there's so much to learn from everybody, from everyone. And all of our stories, they intertwine. All of our stories, they meet somewhere. It's beautiful. That's what I would do. What about you?
And before continuing, there's also something I tell like the people around me is like, you surviving is someone's inspiration tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, your story of today is someone's inspiration for tomorrow. You never know who might listen to your story. You never know who is going through something that when they listen to your story, they get inspired by. So no matter what you're going through, coming from me to you or from us to them, to anyone going through something, is just keep going, because the story, the chapter that you're living is someone's breakthrough.
Yeah.
Just keep going and never give up.
Yeah.
Never.
I was going to say, that's why I have this podcast. That's why I started it. I want people to see this. I want people to see the weeds. I want people to see how hard it is and know that they're not alone. That there is a 20-something-year-old girl out here too, just trying. And there's a Boswell out there too who has a collection and he's trying to get it off the ground as well. And that no one's ever alone. You're not alone. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah. Okay. So what about you?
So for me, it will be put smile on faces.
Yeah.
Help people, mostly kids, because like kids are so innocent. A lot of things that some kids go through and they didn't ask for it, but I believe it's for a reason. So if I could do something every day, it would be just helping people, assisting people, try to be there for people.
Doing that,
and that's thanks to God.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's thanks to God, and I'm very grateful. Without him, none of this would be possible.
Yeah.
And that's something people tend to forget. You can't do this on your own. Not only do you need God, but also you need people. You're not an island. If you want an island, just be one man on the planet. But it's 7 billion.
Yeah.
Then my second question, I have a couple questions actually.
Wow, you can. Wow. Okay.
My second question for you is, what do you think about people?
What do I think about people? That is a good question. I grew up very introverted. My parents, if I'm just going to be honest, my parents, they were Nigerian. I was born in Nigeria. So when they came, they were actually they sheltered us. They sheltered us very well because they didn't know what outside was, they were scared. So they sheltered us, and my parents taught us that anyone outside of family is to be feared and that we should run away from them. So, but because of that as well, we also had a very close family unit, and I love my family. They're great. But for a long time, I didn't learn how to socialize well, especially with people that weren't Nigerian. So I didn't for a while. And I was very quiet and very observant. But now, and it really affected me actually throughout college, because I went to college and I probably only have one real friend coming out of college, and I went far and I was there for 4 years and I only came back with one friend, which is crazy. And a lot of the things I went through, it just happened because I didn't have people. Mm-hmm. So that experience taught me that, first off, you need people, and two, you need to figure out how to maneuver around them. And also maybe it's about being around the right people. So now I actually love people and I love being around people, but I'm very, very, very particular about who I'm around because I do believe that people carry energy just naturally. You can just tell and something will tell you, the Holy Spirit will tell you if someone is good and if someone is bad, or if you're somewhere that's good and you're somewhere that's bad. And I have learned time and time over again that I don't need to be in bad places. And I also don't need to be around some certain type of people. So I don't. If I don't feel good about you, if my spirit is not at ease when I'm with you, I'm not with you. But if my spirit loves you and latches on to you, and at that point I would have already have done the work to figure out who you are, and if I can trust you, I'll be around you. So right now, I love being around people, but it's honestly because I have surrounded myself with amazing people. What about you?
So for me, firstly, I believe that we need each other to grow.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, you can't do it on your own. You can't do it by yourself. And due to the fact that we need one another to grow, you just need to figure out the right people to be around. Just like you said, you have to figure out who can I grow with and who can I not grow with. So who is adding to me, who is taking away from me.
And is what they're taking away from me worth it? Like, am I willing to give that up to this person? And also, are they using it well?
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
So basically for me I'm able to be surrounded by the right people at the right time for the right purpose. I don't think there's anything I can achieve. And I don't think there's anything that can break me down, because like I once heard, right? And God helps man through man.
Yeah.
So if I'm surrounded by the right people sent by God, believe that in moments where I'm going through something, He will use those same people to help me in those moments, and that can really help me in everything I do in my life, because we perform best when we are at our best.
Yeah.
You can't really perform best when you're at your worst.
Yeah.
So in order to perform best, you always have to ensure that you're at your best.
Yeah.
And you can only do so by having a strong circle that really empowers you in moments where you stumble or in moments where you fall. So yeah, I love people.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. I feel that I don't know how to, I just, if I talk, like it'll be here for a while, but while I was in school, I was so much of a hermit that there were just times that I just craved being around people. People didn't even have to talk to me. I just needed to go to a coffee shop or something. And that's when I realized that people really, really do need people. People really do need people. It's crazy. Even God made Eve for Adam because he knew that this man needs someone. It's not good for man to be alone. It's not.
It's not good to be too isolated. That's when, there's this part in the Bible, I don't really remember it. I don't want to say it the wrong way, that's the thing. But it's talking about an idle man, an idle mind. That's not good.
Yeah, that is like the devil's workshop or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's insane. Go ahead.
My last question.
Okay.
One sentence. Would you describe yourself? Describe yourself in one sentence.
Okay. I know this one. All right. So I am a soft light. That's my sentence.
What? I didn't get it. Can you say it again?
I am a soft light.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, this is the first time I'm talking about this, but I have an LLC that this podcast is under, and it's called Soft Light LLC. And the reason why it's named that is because there was a season in my life where things were just happening to me. And I had just realized that I was very, very soft and I hated it because it felt like I wasn't strong enough to endure anything, or like people would just see me and I was just soft. Like even the way I talk, soft, everything's soft. And I used to ask God, like, why did you make me like this? Like, what was your purpose? Because it was hurting me at that time. And he was like, baby girl, like I made you like this because you are my soft light. And in Matthew something, is it Matthew 5 or so? We are called to be light to quench darkness. So in my own way, in my softness, in my like what some would call maybe weak or not loud or whatever, in my softness and my timidness, is how I am spreading God's light. So that's why everything I do has to fall under soft light, because this is the way that my soul is illuminating God's light, especially through all of my creative endeavors. So everything I do creatively falls under soft light, because this is my light that God gave me to shine light on the world and quench darkness. Yeah, I'm a soft light.
Oh, wow. I'm about to start using that though. I'm in my soft light era.
I hate how it's so similar to soft life, because I don't care about soft life. Or me, I don't care about that. I do live a soft life. Nobody can stress me in this world. I refuse it.
Yeah.
But no, my light, everything that I do, I want to be a light unto this world, and I'll do it in my own way, my soft light. Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So the other questions, maybe some other time.
You'll be back. You will definitely be back. Oh my gosh, I even want to have your mom on here. She sounds amazing.
If everybody says that, I really love to have my mom on here too.
Yeah.
On a major platform too as well. Like people really need to listen to my mom's story.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
I don't have the words for it. If we had time, I would have told you, but it's so long, full of so much adventure, stories.
Oh no, she's gonna come and she's gonna tell us herself. She has to.
Of course, by God's grace.
Boswell, thank you so much. You have no idea what this means to me. Tell us how we can find you. Let us know. Tell us about like new drops that you're releasing. And this moment is now just to promote yourself. Tell us everything.
Okay. You can find me at Mr. Boswell, which is Mr.BOSSWELL. That's my Instagram. That's where I flex a little bit. I try to act rich, I post some stuff. I go out, I just try to show a little bit of myself and my lifestyle. And then you can follow my brand at Elsewears __ spelled ELSEWEARS __. That's my clothing brand. We'll be dropping our second official collection October 22nd.
October 22nd. Okay.
October 22nd.
Put it on your calendars, everyone. I'm about to put it on mine right now. 2023.
2023.
Before you're listening to this in 2025.
October is a very beautiful month. My mom's birthday was on the 1st. She opened the month with blessing. I want to drop it October 22nd. And I promise everybody listening to this collection is very hard, because it's going to be cold outside and you probably need a hoodie to keep you warm. And these hoodies are definitely going to keep you warm in style too.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be warm, you'll be warm in style. It's like getting a hug from somebody. That's how you're going to feel. So if you feel lonely, just check my website for real.
It's cuddle season. Cuddle with Elsewears.
Cuddle with Elsewears. And the hoodie is called Anthony. So you get to feel the connection between you and the fabric. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. It's romantic, really.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. So October 22nd, we are dropping our second collection. Stay tuned. I'm so excited. And we have a very huge charity project coming up in December with a very major foundation. I don't know if they'll announce it, but I'm very proud of this. And if we get to announce it, you guys will see it on the page. And lastly,
And we will announce it here as well. Tell me,
of course,
we will announce it, yeah?
yeah. And lastly, follow our new page called Else Archives. That's where we post like the archives, we post unreleased drops, we post samples that didn't make it through the collection, we post designs that we were supposed to drop, but at the end of the day, it got dropped from the list, so we didn't drop the design.
Mm-hmm.
So it's spelled else.archives, which is ELSE dot ARCHIEVE, Else Archives. So check us out, and thank you guys for supporting me, and thank Fikayo for having me on her podcast. I hope I said it right.
You did say it correctly. You did.
That means you have to take me to Lagos. That's good. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Boswell. Oh my goodness. You have no idea.
There's some news though, but it's gonna be off the podcast that I would tell you.
Okay. I'm excited. All right, now it is time to clear off the table and wash the dishes. Boswell, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We can't wait to see what you do in the future. And we here at the table, we will support you in every way in which we can. And speaking of support, October 22nd, 2022, again, his new collection is dropping. Here at the table, we are definitely going to be supporting, so y'all should support as well. And if you are listening to me and you do buy his merch, tag us, because I will definitely be tagging. I will definitely be buying it, and I will tag you guys. But if you guys buy it and you hear it from us, tag us as well, so that I'm able to like put it up on my socials as well. Look at what At the Table is doing, and look at the At the Table community showing up, because that's what we do. We show up at the table. Okay, if you want to see the face behind the voice again, it is always Fikayo, Fikayo, and follow our podcast Instagram. It's pretty great over there. That is at the table _pod. But yes, my dears, that is all. Please go and follow Boswell for me. All right, I think that's it. Wait, no, almost forgot. Do not forget to laugh all the time and pray really loud. Nope, I messed it up. Do not forget to pray all the time and laugh really loud. I love you.